gathered around a conference table strewn with coffee cups and notepads. Talks about marketing plans, HR challenges, and the like. An ordinary business meeting. But this is not just another business meeting. These are all small business owners, and they come together once a month to share challenges and try to solve problems. Kind of a small business CEO support group. He's in accounting. He runs a manufacturing company. She's the president of a communications firm. Different fields, but all facing the same business challenges. They come to this meeting to share.
Okay, so in your circumstance, you found that the web is able to take existing product.
Sure.
And you're able
I mean, do you have a password-protected area where your clients are working back and forth?
And most importantly, to learn.
It's easy because the UPC code, you know, they will...
Yeah, see, but with our particular area, we're...
Imagine what it can be like for these business owners. They have no advisory boards to guide them. They're out there on their own, dealing with who do I hire? How do I better market my service? How do I cut costs? Well, the answers come from each other in discussions prompted by the facilitator.
And as Steve points out, by your talking to him, you have no downside.
Ray Silverstein runs the meetings. Participants pay upwards of $800 a quarter to attend these forums sponsored by his company, President's Resource Organization, or PRO. Katie Spaniak's been coming for about 3 years. It's not that she's always getting specific answers to her business problems. What she values is how the group's discussions cause her to think more creatively about those problems.
Sometimes it's a little humbling because you sit there and you're kind of like, oh, you know, I really didn't think about that. But it really makes you think about a different perspective that I would not have thought about on my own.
There are more direct benefits, too. Ross, who runs an HR consulting company, is exchanging cards with Ken, a medical supply distributor, for a later private conversation. And Ralph may hire an employee that Ross has been forced to lay off. By noon, the meeting will end, and these 6 CEOs will return to their companies, feeling perhaps a little less alone in the competitive world of small business management. Ray Silverstein, you are the president of PRO. Is there a big demand out there in the market from small business owners for this kind of give and take?
Well, this is a great business secret, and primarily there is a big demand because all small businesses, the owners are really in business for themselves, but they are really lonely at the top. In other words, when they have these critical issues as to when they wake up in the middle of the night and say, my bank is calling me, or I have a major customer that's calling me, or I want to bring my children to the business, or I want to sell my business, who do they talk to get non-biased information?
They don't have a board of directors, typically.
That's right. When they have a board of directors, they come to a table and all the seats are empty except theirs. So they put the question out and they get no response. So this gives the opportunity for them to get that information from other professional people who've been through these circumstances, who've been through the wars.
You've got CPA, professional people, manufacturing, publishing, all these varied fields, yet they have common problems.
Oh, about 85% of all business problems are very common. Question is, how do you go to market? How do you create your business plan? How do you get your financing? How do you delegate responsibility and authority? How do you measure? How do you create goals? How do you measure? What are your compensation
Or today,
aspects?
for example, how do you integrate the Internet into the business plan?
Yeah, today we're talking about the Internet, which is kind of more of a common type thing. But the other thing we also talked about, we were talking about email policies. Because today that just came up one of my group meetings the other day as to somebody received an unsolicited email, and they were warned about their behavior.
How do you as facilitator know how to direct a meeting to be most helpful to the participants?
Well, you need kind of like a third ear. And what you're listening for was the issues that they want to put on the table and what really is meaningful to them. Most of these people they get a camaraderie and rapport with the group, and therefore they'll raise a real issue that they really want to have. Sometimes you have to interpret. In other words, a person might say, well, a person might be talking about budgeting, and really they have a cash flow problem right now, so we have to talk about that cash flow need. And so I may have to put that on the table for them. The only time you might have difficulties when a person first comes to a preliminary meeting, when they don't really have the rapport with the group. This is the only place that you ever get support for taking that necessary action which is negative.
And you actually see problems being solved and companies being helped?
Well, we have saved companies. The groups have actually saved businesses which were having financial difficulties. In times like now when business is soft, this is the type of thing that you can't afford not to afford.
All right, Ray Silverstein, thank you.
Thank you.